UK. Today we're going to be looking at this, the Ryobi vac. This is what I think is the newer version of my old one, which was the R18SV7. This one comes from America, and this one is a European version, so I'm looking at it as this was the Mark 1 and this is the Mark 2. This one I always had a problem with the way the grip was situated. The grip was situated at the top, making it very difficult for using tools. When we were using tools, it was like you having to crank your wrist over. This one has actually broken on me, and I'm waiting for the person who sold it to me from Europe to either repair it or replace it. So there you go. So in between, I went and bought this new one. Now the new one has a few new features, so I'll be showing you that in a minute. First of all, let's get rid of this one, and let's have a look at this one. This one features two power modes for a variety of surfaces. Roller bar off option for delicate surface cleaning. That's different to the original one. My roller bar is the problem at the moment. The cog's not turning the motor regularly, should we say. It'll work on hard surfaces, but the minute it touches the carpet, it just gives up and I get that red light. Anyway, and this is cordless convenience, like the other one. Intelligent brushless motor for powerful suction and longer action. But there you go. It says it's quick to empty. LED lights on the front to see debris. Right, let's take a look at the box. Let's have a quick look. It's quick and versatile clean up. Brushless motor for maximum power and runtime. Over 30 minutes of runtime per charge. Not sure how they know that because it depends on what battery you're going to be using at the time. And it's the tool only I bought. So, well, there you go. There's the box. It's obviously a 1+ tool. Right, let's get it open. Is the bracket to hold it on the wall. Now this is where I've suddenly become really confused. Right, now this says on the box that it's a 1+ tool. And it did say 30 minutes per charge. So now I am totally lost why it's got a charger. So will this charge the battery while it's in situ on the tool? That's something I need to find out. Once again, I've not done my homework, so I am totally clueless as normal. And it comes with what looks like an American plug, because I'll be looking on Amazon in a minute. Right, next thing in the box. What can we get out here? The crevice tool. Right, we've got a piece of cardboard. This is the head of the unit. There you go, have a look at that. There you go. Brush tool. Next is the stick of the vac. Slightly different colours again. This one's got the Ryobi colour on the end rather than just grey. That's the stick of the vac. Slightly different. The other one I think is grey both ends. And then we have a bracket for the tools. And last but not least, the unit itself. The main unit itself. And there it is. And the main difference in this model, which I really liked, is the pistol grip. So when you've got a lot more control when you're using the tools. This is just like all the other ones, pistol grip like the Dyson and what have you. The trouble we had with the old one was holding it on the top, trying to hold it and get it down to the angle where this one's perfect. Naturally falls at an angle. So there you go. So now, what I really need to find out, and the only thing I can think is that this, unlike the first one, the European stick vac, it doesn't charge, and so I presume this is going to charge the OnePlus battery as it's in the cradle. So you'll be cradling it on the wall, like that, and at the same time it will be charging. So we'll have a little look into that. So there's the last look at the box. There it is. It's the model number p724b, and this comes from America. I don't believe you can buy this in Europe. Right, let's give it a box. Right, okay, let's try a battery in it. There we go. There you go. That's it running. Right, here's my original vac. Here's the bracket on the back of the door. Now, the new system has an electric cable coming from this, and it will charge the OnePlus battery, which I think is a great feature. So it will always recharge when we hang it back on. I'll show you the bracket. It's very similar. In fact, it's almost identical, except for the only difference is it's got electrical connectors in there which connect to the new Hoover, which are in there, which is great. The first one, obviously, this is just a hook, and there's no electrical connectors inside there. It's just something to hook it on with, like that. Now, I haven't got to swap the tools bracket because it's identical. I've just got to swap the bracket in the middle that holds the Hoover, which is straightforward, so I'll get that done. Just a case of taking out these two screws here and putting a new one. I'll do that quickly. I'm going to put the new one up. Let's take this down.
Two small screws.
And this one pops off. It's like a keyhole design. So you just put it on and pull it down. Just something to point out. It's come with an American plug, so I've had to buy an adapter. Not a problem. Just a case of putting an adapter on. A bit bulky, but still usable. And I have a plug socket in here, just up here, that I'll plug in a minute. Just hang that over there. Once again, it's a keyhole design, so just put it on, drop it down. I've just got to tighten it. Obviously not too hard because I don't want to break the plastic. There we go. Put the bottom one in. There you go, secure. And the Hoover will now hang on there, and supposedly it will charge the battery. So let's plug it in and see what happens. There we go, it's plugged in, and as we can see, it's charging. There we go, we've got green light flashing. Green light flashing is charging, and the full green light will be charged. So we'll come back when it's charged. Now, I think that's a great improvement from my original Hoover. My original European one with a handle on top, which with the tools we never really liked when we hoovered. It didn't have any strength behind it, which was a problem. And now with the new one, obviously we've got the improved fact that it will recharge in situ, which is good. Wasn't a problem so much really, because we always had batteries on charge in the other room. But this is great because as soon as the wife hangs it up, quite a few times she's hung it up when the battery's nearly drained. She's picked it up, gone out there, and of course you get, these stupid Hoovers don't work, never got any batteries. But there's batteries in the back. But now, hopefully every time she picks it up, it will be fully charged or thereabouts. So it's a great idea. But just to point out something about the new one that we really don't like. The pistol grip, fantastic for hoovering, same as the Dyson. But it's this switch. Becomes a problem unless if you've got small hands, you can just get away with it. If you've got bigger hands, while you're hoovering, you're switching it off. So you're switching it on, hoovering and you're switching it off, and it's become really frustrating for my wife. And we find we're hoovering by holding this and holding here with a tool. It's a case of having to use two hands, because otherwise to use one hand you end up gripping the switch a bit higher and it turns it off. So once again, I think that's a bit of a Ryobi to get, especially if you've got dogs and you're trying to get hairs out of things, trying to get them, it's quite difficult. So we find we end up using two hands. But there you go. I still think this is the better version, and I think if Ryobi do bring out another version, they should bring out a power switch on top. Right, so first off, here's the power button. Turn it on, and it turns on a maximum power, but press the top button, and this is on low power, which is yellow light. Then we click it again with the blue light, which is maximum power. Now lastly, turn the power off. So it's power buttons here. We get a yellow green light for low power. We get a blue light when we press this button to get maximum power. And lastly, we will get an orange light when our battery is low. Moving on to the next button, which is another new feature, is this button here will turn off the brushes at the bottom. So I'll show you that now. So here's the button. Let's have it running. So that button turns off the LEDs and the brushes, but we'll carry on vacuuming. There's a quick look at the sticks and the head units on both systems. The one on the right with the Ryobi coloured top is the new one. The one on the left is the older one. There's no real difference in design. I thought there was, but they're not. They're both very similar, just for the colours that are different. This one is very dirty. I've actually got a problem with the cog that drives the brushes. It turns off when I'm using carpet. The brushes stop rotating. I can tell there's a problem with the cog. It's not working right. It's oscillating in all different angles. But this one works fine with the carpet, and that always did, and suddenly just seemed to give up the ghost. Here we are, got the 3 amp hour battery on it. I'm just about to hoover some wooden surface and a rug. Just show you it in action. As you can see, goes up and glides well. Handle's in a good position. Straight up. The old one always struggled on the carpet. Sometimes I would get a red light and the brushes would stop working. I'm just going to show you the problem we have with the power button and using it with the tools and the grip. And the problem we're having is if you've got very small hands, you can grip at the bottom here, and you're using the tools like this rather than just using the one. Can't get much purchase on it. It's very important to me because I have a bulldog that molts like mad. See there again, I've done it again. Didn't even mean to that time. Caught the power button with my hand. Now, so that's something Ryobi should have done. They should have Move the power button maybe to up here somewhere, or here, or put a guard stopping you hitting that. I'll show you in a second. Using this with the tools, that this works its way loose and just falls out. It comes loose and you're constantly having to push it back in. There's no clip. The clipping in is just a standard generic rubbish push-in, where the Dyson has the clipping tool. Don't know if you can make it out in this light. So no matter how much you're waggling it around, it won't come loose. Second place, it's this switch that I'm really struggling with. Where we're using the tool and you just clip it, and you'll clip it on and off. No guard on it, and it's either just on. You've got power settings, so it's just on or off. The Dyson beats the Ryobi there. One, you have a trigger guard, which would help. But secondly, the idea is you keep the trigger down the whole time you're using it, and when you let go, it stops. Basically, this means that you can't turn it off as you release it that way. So it's a whole new different mechanism. There's no way of turning it on and off while using it. It's just a case if you let go of your finger. Whereas with the Ryobi, like I said, very small at the bottom grip. It's a very heavy unit to be waggling around, so you need two hands, and quite often you'll catch the power supply. There you go, there's a quick look at the Ryobi stick vac, the p724b with the charging cradle, and unfortunately the American plug on it, but it's not a problem. Thanks again for watching Ryobi UK. Hope this is helpful in some way to somebody, and I'll see you in the next exciting video.